Hey, this next segment is brought to you by my good friends at Rocketly.ai. That is Rocketly.ai. If you're in the real estate business, especially the investment side, and you need a platform that can run your real estate business and talk to leads through AI when you're not able to talk to them and can qualify and get to all the leads you can't get to, plus, it has an amazing piece of technology with it called Lead Detector that helps get all the people that come to your site and not opt in to turn into a lead. These are my good friends at Rocketly.ai. I'm part of this company as well. I use it to run my real estate business, my real estate investment business. Go check them out. Again, Rocketly.ai. And thank you guys for sponsoring the segment.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back with another episode of Wake Up to Wealth. And today we're going to do a little bit different. We really try to always bring you informative guests and talk about subjects around wealth and things of that nature. And today I want to do it a little bit different because if you've ever heard me speak on stage or if you've ever been in a room with me, I like to be authentic. I like to be raw, and I just like to tell people the truth. And I've got my good friend Branden Hudson here today who works with me. What's up, brother?
How you doing, man?
And we're going to do a series that's a little bit different where we're just going to really just kind of have a real conversation with you guys about entrepreneurship and different things because I think there's a lot of things that need to be said. And so we're going to do a couple shows like this, and it's going to be, we're going to get off the fucking chain a little bit. So I'm just, I'm forewarning you guys, it's going to be a little bit different.
Parental advisory.
So, one thing I want to start out and talk about today is, entrepreneurship as a whole, right? So, social media, I just want to have an honest conversation about this. So if you're out there and you're listening to this, entrepreneurship is fucking hard, and social media will have you believe it is for everyone. Everyone can be successful. It's not difficult. And one of the things I just want to kind of talk to you guys today about is just the reality of entrepreneurship. And I believe inherently most people can be successful, but I believe an honest conversation needs to take place today about what it actually fucking takes, right? And, you've seen this firsthand. Branden, for context, coaches MMA fighters, been an MMA fighter himself, but also hires, recruits, trains, coaches, salespeople within my organization. And, there's only so much room at the top. And there's a reason why there's the 99 and the 100, or there's the 99% and there's the 1%. And yeah, I'm fucking calling you out if you're listening to this. The reality of it is the amount of work, obsession, grind it takes to get to the 1%. Most motherfuckers are just not built for that shit. Like, you're just not built for it. And, can you find it? Yes. But in reality, Branden can attest to this. We've had so many people that have come into our environment. I'm willing to do whatever. I'm willing to grind. Yeah, dog, I want the money. I want this. The minute they get punched in the face, they fucking fold, right? Same thing in the gym, right? But you see social media and you see the highlight reels, right? We're not posting our failures, and so everyone thinks this shit is easy. It is the hardest fucking thing you will ever fucking do. But the rewards and the spoils of war, so to speak, are worth it. But motherfucker, you got to be built for that journey. And you got to understand what the fuck you're signing up for.
Yeah, dude. Like, one of the words that I hate or phrases that I hate the most is financial freedom. Because there's no such thing as financial freedom, right? Yeah. There's always a bigger table in Vegas. There's always a bigger room. There's always, there's always somebody. Absolutely. Yeah. So financial freedom is a fucking bullshit word that you hear all the time. And when I'm recruiting people and talking to people, that's the first thing they want to say. I wanted to break the generational curse and have generational wealth and financial freedom, and all these terms that just get loosely put out there. And then they watch social media and they watch people that they watch the end result, the cars, and they don't have no clue. Yeah. They have no clue about the process. And the biggest thing that I'm always digging deep on is trying to find, like, why the fuck do you want to do this? Right. Like, this is not, like, people think they start their own businesses and go on entrepreneurship journeys for, like, a better time or a better schedule, more time on their plate and all that. And it's the last thing in the world that you're going to get. We're never off.
No. And so let's look at this as a sports analogy, right? This is what people never really look at. And if you look at the best athletes in the world, right? Like 80% of the time, they're getting their ass kicked. They're training, their nutrition, they're losing games, they're getting injured, right? If you look at some of the greatest athletes in the world over the life of their career, right? They won one championship, two championships, Jordan, Kobe, 5 and 6, right? Brady, exception with, 6 or 7, however many he's won. But fuck, he played for 20 years, right? And, so like if you equate it to an athlete, like most of the time you're going to get your fucking ass kicked. And you're going to get your ass kicked every day, day in and day out for that, small amount of moments where you actually feel like you're winning, right? Now that makes it worth it, but the motherfuckers don't understand the process and the beating that you got to take to get there. And no one talks about this enough. Like everybody talks about the good shit, which is great, but no one talks about like, most people are just not really built to do, like, you have to be so obsessed. There's shit in your life you're going to sacrifice. There's a period of time where you're going to miss shit. There's no fucking going out. It's no doing any of that stupid shit. The most successful people that I know are so fucking obsessed with what they do that is the only focus that they have in their life. And that's what you got to understand. And if you're not willing to do it, sit the fuck down because you're not built to be an entrepreneur.
Well, there's no shame in tapping out. You know what I mean? Just tap out and say you're not for it. Those athletes that you mentioned, right? Like all of them faced incredible adversity, right? Like Jordan was cut from his high school team. Brady was like, down the line on the draft picks.
Was the last person drafted.
Yep. Kobe actually I read a statistic on him. He actually had like the most missed shots.
Yeah.
So, you got a 50% shooting percentage, right? Nobody looks at that fact. They look at the ones that he make and all the other shit. And, the difference between those guys and other high performing entrepreneurs and people that are obsessed is they don't back down from adversity. Right? We see so many people that the first time they fucking get slapped around in a deal, they bitch up. I have so many people come into our gym.
In general.
I have so many people come into my gym wanting to be a fighter, right? That's the first thing everybody says. I want to be a fighter. I want to be a fighter. And they swear that they're going to get in here. And I mean, I got people that I've trained and have moved on and I watched them just for one thing that pisses me off. I watch how these guys just hold pads for a new fighter, right? And what people don't understand is in that world, there's so many intricacies when you're holding pads.
Yeah.
And I don't like holding pads, right? But I know how to. And the holding pad side of it is are we just holding pads and let people fucking throw hands and just shots and just feel good? Or are we looking about the way they're sitting down on their punches, or their hands up, and they bring it back to their face, or their chin down? These boring ass, redundant ass things that you have to do in order to be successful in that world. That I'll watch these videos and like you'll see these guys just fucking up constantly, posting this shit and celebrating it like on social media, like everybody's winning, and then the average person sees that shit like, I need to go hit pads. I want to be a fighter. I want to jump into the cage now and do this shit, and they have no clue. Like, dude, the shit that you see in the cage, the fight, the blood, and all that. That's probably the easiest part of that whole process that they have to go through.
So the other thing too is that one of the things that's frustrating for me is what I want everybody to understand and get is if you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur, you got to learn how to be consistent. It is probably the easiest thing to do and the hardest thing to do. And it's what people are not willing to do. And so, like, all right, so you want to be an entrepreneur. How successful do you want to be? Well, you want financial freedom. Well, if you want to do something special, you got to be consistent for years at a time.
Yep.
The same shit, day in, day out, non-sexy, mundane shit, right? I got a good friend of mine, Heath Evans, won a Super Bowl with the Patriots, played with Brady, and he said Brady used to show up an hour or two before practice. This is after he was multiple Super Bowl champ, and he would run air routes with the receivers. You know anything about football, that's the most elementary thing to do. Like, motherfuckers are like, oh, I want this and I want that. but you're not willing to do the work every single day. Put in the work every single day in and day out, on the days you don't feel like it, when you've got to be consistent and you don't want to do it, and your friends are going out, they're having a beer, this one's going here, this one's going there, and you're looking at social media and all this, and that's what people are not willing to do. Look, there is no substitute for being consistent. There is no substitute for doing the work. And people, I want to get in this, I'm going to figure out how to work smarter. Cool. But you forgot work is part of the equation. Right?
The most important part.
Right? And so it's like, so many people just have this unreal, like, reality. If you look at, like, people who've done anything of significance in the world, they just worked and they put in the work and they were consistent day in and day out. The other thing, too, is what you got to understand is, if you want to do this shit and you want to do something of significance, you're going to feel like you're losing a lot. Right?
Yeah.
And you're going to be misunderstood. And people are going to think you're fucking crazy. And you're probably going to lose some friends. And you're probably going to alienate yourself from your family. Do you know why? No one understands the level of work that it takes. So when you understand and you lock in, you alienate yourself from other people because they're not willing to fucking do it. Their insecurities will be projected onto you, because you're doing the shit that they want to get there. They don't want to do the work. The process is how you get there. There is no fucking substitute.
No, it's a lonely, lonely island you're on when you're an entrepreneur, because in the beginning, everybody's rooting for you and proud of you and happy for you, and they've got you, and you're the underdog, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're in the thick of things. Yeah. And you're in the thick of things, right? Yeah. And then the minute you start becoming a threat, or the minute you start posing a little bit of differences than the rest, then all of a sudden, here comes a little subliminal hate and a little shots, and I don't know what you're doing,
this or that.
Yeah, all that bullshit, right? And then all of a sudden at the end, you hear about it. Well, we knew you could do it the whole time. Sure. But in the trenches time frame, dude, you are so fucking lonely, right? Yeah. You're so lonely because no one understands you. No one is going. You're pouring into so much and so many people. No one gets it, right? And then the reciprocation of the expectation, whether it be just, hey, support me in my journey, or, I'm giving you all this fucking knowledge, all this mentorship, all these resources, just do the fucking work. Right. When you get let down on the reciprocation side of it, it just pushes you even farther and farther in that lonely road. And most people can't get over that, Brandon. No. Most people, and when we're talking about the entrepreneur journey, they stop there and give up there.
Yeah, they stop, and people care so much about other people's opinions of them. Understand that if you want to be successful at anything, you got to not give a fuck what other people say. If you're in anything where you deal with the customer, you know what you care about. What does your customer say? Obsess about what your customer says, because that's where you make your money. Everybody else, fuck them.
Yep, and that includes sometimes the closest people to you. You know what I mean? Because, look, a real leader has to lead everybody. They can't just lead their businesses. They can't just lead their families, right? There's so many people that are leaders, and then there's so many people that are leaders amongst leaders, right? And there's a very few amount of individuals that are leaders amongst leaders, because they understand that I have to lead my organization just as well and just as equivalent to how I lead my household, just as equivalent to how I lead my friendships, and all of the things that I have in the spokes on the wheel that I have in my life. I've got to fucking be a leader to everybody. I can't be a leader in my comfort zone and the things that I'm just good at. And that's the difference, right? We see it all the time. You see people, realtors, you see brokerages, you see in any industry where they're just leading what they're used to, their little organization, their little cave, the things that they're doing, or bigger cave. But then when you talk about their personal life, or you talk about other things, they're falling flat on their ass because they don't transmute those values that they have in business, or they don't transmute those skills that they need to, or they fail when they're all lonely, and they take that in and they start thinking that the world is against them. You have to step up and understand the bigger picture when it comes to all of leadership, is that it's just not where you're at your place of genius that you're a leader. You're a leader in every single aspect of your life, because all eyes are on you, right? And the minute you start getting pushed around and knocked around, then that's where your leadership skills are really going to come to surface, and we're going to see like what you're really made of. Yeah. Another thing that really fucking pisses me off, back to your point, is people that want to try and reinvent the wheel, right? They want to come in.
Well, in general, everybody overcomplicates everything when to be successful, it's actually simplicity.
Yeah, very simple.
Yeah.
Like follow the blueprint.
Yeah.
Like people want to come into something they're new and they're all excited in that first 6 months. And then after that first 6 months, they get pushed around a little bit. It's not what they thought. They have to do the work.
Well, part of it is they want to reinvent the wheel because they don't believe the simplicity is showing up, doing the work, and your daily habits. And this goes kind of to what you were saying, right? Around your health and wellness, around your relationships with the people you love, around your relationships with your family, all spill into how successful you will be in business as well. And the reality of it is that most people just can't understand, and you just got to be consistent. And your daily habits, it's the shit you don't want to do. And then the other thing you have to understand is human beings, we are creatures of comfort. If you want to be successful as an entrepreneur, you want to be successful at anything, you're going to be super fucking uncomfortable all the time. And, for me personally, there's plenty of times when, man, like I'm standing in it and I'm like, man, I'm at a level 10 in my fear. I'm at a level 10 in my anxiety. And I just revert back to like, this is what it's supposed to feel like.
Well, and that also helps you go from when you had those $1,000 problems to $50,000 problems to be able same problems, but now you're expanding your comfort zone, and now you got $1 million problems because you had to get through those thousands and through those 50,000s, which attributes to the fear and to the uncomfort and all the things when you got kicked in the face and things like that. That
it doesn't stop, by the way.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, like if you're listening to this and you're an entrepreneur, understand that like the highest level of pain you can tolerate is going to be proportionate to the amount of money that you will make. And the reality of it is, if you stay in comfortability, I know it's cliche, but you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to do anything of any significance. You're going to feel uncomfortable all the time if you're doing anything of any significance. If you're pushing forward in any area of your life, you're going to fucking feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel alone. You're going to feel isolated. But at the end of the day, you probably will do shit if you accept this and you understand it and you can take the punches in the face and keep going. You're probably going to do shit that no one in your friend group has ever done. No one in your family has ever done. It's generationally changing and challenging shit. And it is hard, but on the surface, like if you look at what it takes every single day, it's not as hard as what people think. But where people fall down is they're just not willing to do it every day. Mm-hmm. Then they're just not willing to do it when shit gets uncomfortable or they get punched in the face. However, they will go on the internet or go on social media and post motivational text and quotes like, I'm out here, I'm grinding, you see me. But the reality of it is, the minute something goes south, you ain't willing to do it. Look, you're a fucking liar. Like at the end of the day, if you work for an organization or you lead people and you say that I'm willing to do this, and the first sign that shit goes wrong, you're not willing to do it, you're full of shit.
Yeah. The first thing you can tell when somebody's lying is once you think you're going to make this immense wealth all fucking 40 hours a week.
Get out of here.
Motherfucker, you're not going to make 6 figures or more at 40 hours a week.
And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to work 40 hours a week, your level of comfort and happiness is fine.
But don't be posting these motivational quotes about how you're fucking trapping, dog. You're not trapping.
And the flip side of that is it's very hard for you to build anything special or do anything of significance if for a certain part of your life you don't sacrifice a lot and put in way fucking more than to be real with you guys, I've slept in the office multiple times. Like I've worked till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, 7 days. I've gone years without a vacation. Like that might sound harsh to you, right? But the reality,
you're here on Sundays.
Yeah.
We were here this past Sunday. It was holiday week right off holiday, and you were here Sunday.
Yeah, but the thing is that the thing is when you think in abundance, right? The mistake people also make too is, yes, it's got to be about money. But the thing is, when you make it just about money, you make decisions based around money that are fucked up because you're making decisions in scarcity. See, I'm not working on Sundays and not going on vacation because I need the money. I'm doing it because I love building what I'm building. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's the enjoyment. It is vacation, right? And again, listen, this is my version of it. Y'all can have whatever version of it you want. But I will tell you, the people that have coached me, mentored me, trained me, taught me to be better, this is how they fucking operate.
And they're insane.
Yeah, they're insane.
I'm
insane.
We have a level of insanity to us that separates us from the rest.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to go out here and do things that are different from every fucking body in your circle, you're not really truly here to change the world or change your world, right?
Yeah.
So, and one of the things that you've said, and I love this, man, is, entrepreneurship is about how much pain you're willing to tolerate.
100%.
If you think it's just about money and that's your main why, you'll lose. And you've got a scarcity mindset. Yeah. You've got a limited belief system behind that. It is a scarcity mindset. It is a scarcity mindset, you're right. But I meant to say you got a limited belief system on that because now you're limiting yourself to just money. Yeah. Money's a tool. Money leverages you to be able to do the things like setting up your family and so forth.
And when you chase it, it runs.
You know what we never hear anybody talk about anymore? We never hear anybody talk about how my daddy's daddy used to do this and used to do that.
Yeah.
That's a thing that's gone. Yeah. If you're seasoned like you and I, and you were at the family functions or the sitting around my mom and pop, you would always hear things about your daddy's daddy. Yeah. And in some households, you would see a picture of your great-great-great-grandfather or something. And there's a lot of people that talk about this, but there's always that one person that changes the whole dynamic for a successful family, right? Yeah. They made the choices and so forth. And for me, right, something that's very fucking important for me is legacy. Right? I love money and I love success and I love all the things that come with it, but leaving a legacy behind, and I'm not talking about no fucking monument built or no name after, of a street or a highway. I'm talking about, I want to leave so much digital content. I want to have so much impact on my family and the people that I care about that I sat there and I changed that for generations to come. Now, 4 generations later is when they fuck up the money, statistically speaking, they say. I want 4 or 5 generations to have a picture of me in their household. Do you understand the flex and the power play that is? Sure. To be able to be the only Hudson that sat here and did that, and then all of my grandkids and all of my kin can sit there and revert back to my digital content that I've got forever. They'll be able to see and look how I did it, and they'll be able to refer to me. Those are the reasons why I'm able and willing to wake up on a Sunday, go to work sick, do 14, 15 hour days, just push myself to the limits, because that why right there trumps money, vacations, anything else that you can never put a price on.
It's purpose. And that's the other thing too, is that back to your point, like if you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to be successful, one of the things that needs to drive you is purpose. Whether that's leading other people, whether that's building something special, whatever it is. You're
proving everybody wrong.
Yeah, proving everybody wrong.
That's a good purpose to start.
Breaking the generational wealth curse of your family. You've got to walk in and live in purpose. And because when shit gets tough, and another thing that I'll say is, if you're an entrepreneur and you walk and you live in purpose and you're being consistent, a lot of times you are closer than you think, right? You're closer than you think to the breakthrough. Mm-hmm. And the other thing too is that it just takes time. None of us want anything to take time. We want it to be fast, right? So the thing is, if you're out there and you're listening to this, or you're paying attention to this, you're probably closer than you think. You just got to hold on for the breakthrough. And then what happens is momentum, right?
Yep.
Momentum starts to happen. Do you know what I mean? And it starts to snowball and shit starts to go your way. And the thing is, what you don't realize like sometimes, I had something happen yesterday and it was pretty cool. We're with EXP now, and I had a bunch of people that I've been talking to say yes to join our organization. So we came here in September, and we're in January. They didn't come because I've been talking to them since September. You know why they came? Choices that I made 10 plus years ago.
Yep. Right?
And so when I was home last night and I was sitting down, taking a shit, because sometimes that's where the best ideas come from, right?
You ain't lying.
and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, and I'm like, that is a combination of decisions that happened 10 years ago.
Yep.
This is a body of work that happened that started 10 years ago. And a lot of people, you're not willing to hold on for 10 years, right? And in the spectrum of things, 10 years is not a long time.
No.
And especially to build something special, to walk in your purpose and to build a legacy. But I thought about that last night, and I said, obviously I've had a ton of wins in between that, but it was like, it just, everything hit at the same time. And it just took me back to, we're always closer than we think. We just don't necessarily realize it because you're standing in it and you're getting kicked in the fucking dick every day.
Yep.
And you don't feel like you're making progress when in reality, you're making way more progress than what you are. You're just not seeing it.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not necessarily seeing it every day.
Well, I equate that to the fight world, man. Like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, for instance, is one of the greatest and shittiest sports to ever be part of.
Absolutely.
Because you're in it and it changes everything. But what happens is when you show up every single day, 5-6 days a week, you're doing training sessions, you're learning the same material, you're learning new material, all the above. You're getting smashed, you're smashing people. You don't see your improvements, right? That's why, say what you want. That's why the striping system is done and the belting system is done the way it is, pretty uniform across the board is because your instructor will recognize decisions you're making, ways that your body's moving, things that you're not doing. He or she doesn't give a fuck about how many people get tapped in a training session. They're noticing the little things that when you're in the thick of things, you have no clue. Some of the biggest promotions that I've gotten in jiu-jitsu came from nights I got my fucking ass handed to me.
100%.
And I'm like, I don't deserve this right now. Is this a pity stripe? But it was like, no. And as I gotten more versed into the game and been in the business longer, I've understood that they weren't looking at how this guy tapped me. They were looking about how he set up the tap 3 or 4 or 5 moves before he got the tap, right? And how I positioned and forced him to pivot on those different things. To your point of 10 years ago with decisions that you were making, that's what that added up to be. And I know personally things that you've done that no one knows about that have added to that decision-making process, added to that integrity and character building that most people will never know about. But again, it adds those layers and adds the shield and the badges to your uniform because you make one good decision here, you make another good decision here, you build off that momentum, right? And I always take it back to the fight game. Win momentum is when you have the momentum, when you have the juice, you have to double down harder than you ever went.
No, dude. So going back to the comfortability, how many times have we seen this? And I've seen this. A salesperson will go on a run, a month-to-2 run, and then they stop.
They go on vacation.
Yeah, or they and again, look, nothing wrong with going on vacation, but they stop the habits and the daily activity that got them there because they think that they think that they're smarter than their daily activities.
Well, the worst person to take advice from is a person who just got $1 million. Right. Because once that person gets $1 million, they back up and stop doing the things that got them $1 million.
You learn so much more from the loss than the wins because, sometimes wins can be a lousy teacher because you could have been right place, right time. You could have been subject to the market, whatever the case is, but you will win when you're on the good side of the market from your habits. You'll also win on the good side of the market, or on the bad side of the market because of your habits. But it doesn't go both ways. If you got bad habits, you can win in a good market. Yep. And anything you're doing, you're not going to win in a bad market. But if you got good habits, you're going to win in fucking both. And that's what people don't understand.
No, and in the fight business, like for gyms, right? So what a lot of guys and gals don't realize is you're gonna have that hat of a room full of lions, the most active fighters, the ones that are winning, the ones that are champions, right? And you don't get to keep that hat. That hat passes from gym to gym to gym to gym to the course of business, to the course of the fight world, right? Yeah. And what happens is some people that get the hat, right? They think that the hat is special and that they got the hat because they're special, not because of all the work they did 10 years ago or all the deposits they made daily and all the things that they were working hard toward. They think that all of a sudden that they're separate from everybody else. For that moment you are, but you just have the hat where everything's working, everything's clicking, people are winning, people are doing their thing. What you do with the hat is what's going to matter for the longevity of your business and for the longevity of what people see you doing with your business.
Yep.
So when you're winning and when you're doubling down and when you're on that momentum, that's when you've got to really go all in on what works and not go outside of what is different. Doesn't mean you can't make some different choices or different investments or strategies. Of course, every level has its own devils, but at the end of the day, don't fall back from what got you there when you have that momentum. Double down on momentum, because the hat's going to pass, and then the hat's going to go to someone else. And some people take the hat and they think it's all about them and they're the king and the queen, and that's the demise of their business. Yeah. They can never recover from that. Yeah. But the momentum is big, man. Like, we see so many people that come in here and, you know, in the sales world, and, you know, they have a great few months, you know, and all of a sudden they just forget and they forget about their pipeline.
They stop doing what they were doing.
Yeah, they get sloppy on their business and stuff like that. And it's mind-boggling to me. And I think it's because, honestly, people really, I think in a way you have to go through that. But you have to go through that within reason, right? Like, you have to have a level of that where you experience it so that you know what broke feels like again after you've made money. But at the same time, you know, you have to have the good mentorship and the good examples in front of you to sit here and say, look, motherfucker, this ain't gonna last. You know, winter's coming. You know what I mean? Winter's coming. You know, just like, you know, so many other industries, winter's coming. So you better fucking stack away your chitlins and stack away your shit now so that you're gonna be all right.
Well, in your it's just, you know, you stack your habits. Don't change your habits, and that's where. And the other thing too is, I will say that, you know, mindset is cliche too. But look, if you don't have a mindset of, you see the positive in every situation and you don't play the victim, you know, victimhood, especially because of social media, is so prevalent. And it's like, no, motherfucker, you're not the victim. You choose to be the victim. And I can't tell you how many times, just as another tidbit, I would suggest everyone get in masterminds, pay coaches, get people that are ahead of you to call you on your shit and tell you when you're being a fucking bitch, and give you the blueprint to help you walk through it. But a lot of times, and if you're out there and you're listening to this and you have someone that holds you accountable, instead of being a victim, you should take that. Accountability is the highest form of love.
Yep.
And if someone holds you accountable, that means they care about you and they're trying to make you better. And if you take the other side and you become the victim in that situation, you'll never progress and you'll never grow. And a mentality, if you don't see instead of, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening for me? If you don't have this mindset, this positive outlook of like, look, somebody's, you know, something's trying to show me something. I have to learn from this. If you don't have if you notice, negative people always have bad shit happen to them.
Yep.
Because I think that they manifest that into their life. Manifestation of thought is fucking real. And if you don't have a positive mindset and attack every day with a positive mindset and look at everything through that lens, you're going to get your fucking ass handed to you. You're going to get your ass handed to you anyway. It's your choice what lens you see it through. But when you sit around and you become the fucking victim, that's some fucking bullshit. And I promise you will not progress. And guess what? People that are in your life that play the victim, cut them off. Get rid of them.
I'm going to tell you, another form of victimhood that people don't think about is when you hang around people that do nothing but yes man and yes ma'am you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're actually running from those people that'll be straightforward with you. And we know some people that whenever somebody all of a sudden is straightforward with them, they get cut off, right? If you're constantly seeking the people around you to sit here and yes man you and agree with you all the time, I think that's a form of victimhood in itself, because you're not really putting yourself into a vulnerable position to be able to be called out on your shit. And then here's the other thing about people that are willing to call you out on your shit, right? You don't get to keep them.
Yeah.
Great people, special people that come along in your life, you don't get to keep. You don't gotta there's an expiration date on that relationship. Yeah. There's a time and place where they're gonna move on, or other things are gonna happen, or acts of God are gonna happen where those people are no longer in your life. You better fucking hold on to those people and accept every single fucking conversation that you get with them, good, bad, or indifferent. You know, and I'll tell you something even farther than that. Appreciate the mistakes that those people make.
Yeah, so you don't have to make them.
Yeah, the mentors and the people that hold you accountable, they're gonna nobody's fucking perfect. Yeah. They're gonna make mistakes too. You know, the part of the victimhood in this society and in this culture we live in is the minute, you know, somebody does something wrong, everybody's so quick to be a fucking jury on social media or a jury inside the gossip groups, and they just dismiss people. Yo, none of us are fucking perfect. We're all gonna make mistakes. Those motherfuckers that are sitting here holding you accountable and having those hard conversations with you and telling you the shit that your little yes man won't, those are the motherfuckers that you got to stay fucking next to through thick and thin, ride out the storm, and hold on to the people so much, because they are not going to be here forever.
Well, and the best capital in the world is relationship capital. And another thing in the entrepreneurship world that I see where people fuck up all the time is they will fuck up a relationship over a small amount of money because they feel that that's going to get them ahead when they could have made millions of dollars off that relationship. Man, I can't tell you. There's been so many situations in my world where someone did something like that to me, and they thought that they made a little bit of money here, and it cost them so much money in the long run. By the way, I want you guys to know something. The top of the mountain that we're all sitting on is small. So like if you want to get there and you try to do it the wrong way by scamming motherfuckers, by getting over, we're not letting you up there.
Nope.
You get up there, we're going to kick you the fuck off the mountain. So just, some of the things too, as you're growing as an entrepreneur, the bridge you burn, you might have to cross back over that motherfucker.
And your reputation will catch up with you.
And people forget that.
Yep. Your reputation will catch up. People will not forget you fucked over them or you fucked over somebody they knew. And the minute because look, when you come into that circle, when you come to the top,
and hey,
that's a guarded circle.
Not to cut you off on this, but what people don't get or understand is you might get away with it for a certain period of time. But guess what? In the world of entrepreneurship, when you get to the bigger stages and the more, we all know each other.
Yep.
Right? I just literally had a situation yesterday where I'm not going to say any names, but someone cost themselves a job at a C-suite of a really big company because of their reputation. You know why? Because I got called for a character reference. And I'm not petty. I was just honest.
Yep.
And I said, hey, I had a situation with that person where over a small amount of money, they, in my opinion, made the wrong choice. And here's why. When the long-term relationship, so that's their thinking. Mm-hmm. So I got a phone call back and they said, we didn't hire him. Life-changing job, by the way.
Yep.
That person probably will never know that conversation came up. But the thing is, what you don't think about is it might take you longer than you want if you're not scamming people and you're not getting over people. But the long-term gain you will have for reputation and your name being solid and being golden and having relationship capital, where right now in just about every single industry in this country, I could call the top dog or one of the top dogs, get advice, right? Ask them to invest in a deal with me. Ask them to hop in a call, pour into my people, whatever. It's years of relationship capital that I built without fucking people. That's hundreds of millions of dollars that's worth. But I could have burnt bridges, 100,000, 500,000, million, whatever, in deals and fucked people over and lost that relationship. And the wrong motherfucker thinks that's the way to get ahead. But I'm telling you, that shit will burn you every time.
One thing I've noticed with you, in the time we've done business together and worked with you, is your ability to build relationships is like no other.
Yeah.
And what I know is the reason being is because you're very transparent, you're very straightforward, and you're one of these motherfuckers, dude. And people underestimate this so much. Is the truth is always the easiest route to anywhere. 100%. When you're telling the truth to people, it's fucking gold, man. And so many business owners and entrepreneurs want to dance around the truth. They dance around the truth with their clients. They dance around the truth with their employees. They dance around the truth with investors. They want to dance around the truth and try to fuck it. Look, sometimes the truth might not be the most favorable outcome to convey to someone, but because the truth was there and it was transparent, and even if it had holes in it, a person will do business and give you a shot because they say, okay, cool. Well, these are and these are the challenges we can overcome. Yeah, but so many people want to paint this lily white picture, and you're not one of those. You're one of those guys that.
Well, they try to sell it.
Yeah,
they try to sell you a dream that's not real, and then it damages their integrity.
Yeah, and they wonder why nobody wants to do business with them in the end. And look, you're going to rip off a handful of people, and then you're going to rip off and scam another handful. But eventually, like you said, it's going to catch up with you, dude. And that's why I'm big on, dude. Like I stay in my own lane. I don't focus on trying to get. I've been at a lot of meetings and rooms and tables and stuff like that, that for the time that I was there, I didn't, it wasn't my time to be there, but I just, I got the chance to be a fly on the wall. I got the chance to be in the seat. I stay in my own lane. I don't need to be the loudmouth at the table. I have no problem with taking over a room and running my mouth and all that, but at that moment, I'm playing my position and playing my part and staying true to myself, because that shit's going to pay off in the end.
Yeah, and you understand this, and so many people don't understand this, and we're going to wrap it with this thought. Another, relationship capital in the entrepreneurship world, I just think relationship capital in general is just the way that you get ahead. Where people fuck up is they don't understand what a relationship means. And what a relationship means is, if you go into a relationship because you want to take, that's not a relationship, right? And so many people I see will get in these rooms that you and I have been in, or they try to get to someone that I'm friends with, and they just want to take.
Yep.
And you will fucking lose. A relationship is, I'm willing to give with no expectation of return. And it's not I did this for you, so motherfucker, you got to do this for me. That's not it. That's not, people ask me all the time, dude, you're friends with the CEO of this and that, and you can get these guys on the phone. How? Because my relationship with them was not based on what they could do for me. Mm-hmm. My relationship with them was based on, I'm coming to this relationship to give value to you, right? And then natural reciprocity, they give value back. But if if you get in a room and you want to take, and you're in any room we're in, we're kicking you the fuck out, number one. And you're going to lose long term. Get into the room. You can never lose pouring value into a marketplace, pouring value into relationships, pouring value into anything you do, and not expecting anything in return. When everything's got to be transactional, that's not a relationship. That's a transaction, right? Do you know what I mean? That's what a transaction is. Hey, you do this for me, I do this for you. There's an exchange somehow.
And that's business.
Right.
Business is the same way. Business is not about
transactions and relationships, two different things.
100%. And business is not just transactional. It's about relationship. It's about giving. I'm giving you a service. I'm giving you a product. I'm giving you what I have to offer in hopes that I can give you value so that you will repeat business with me, that you will pass my referral along, so you will, give me a good review. Whatever the case may be, it's all about giving. And it's funny, you said, those people that go into those rooms, we see them all the time, and they'll go into the room and they try to pitch every single fucking person they could be in there.
And by the way, just so you know, if you're listening to this, we spot you right away, motherfucker.
And you don't have another chance.
Yeah, we know.
Once you're spotted and you're kicked out of that room, you don't get back in.
And you think you're slick and all this kind of, we know, motherfucker, we know. And we're having a conversation that night about, that's not one of, he or she is not one of us. Nope. And we kick you out of the fucking room, you idiot.
And you don't get back in.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, you've lost your chance because you're so thirsty. It's kind of like dudes sending fucking chicks dick pics and shit. You know what I mean? It's like, this is going to be the way that I'm going to get her, right? Like, come on, guy. Or they slide into DMs as if, their DMs aren't flooded anyway. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The worst. I can tell you about stories, but I sit back at the gym all the time and I just hear countless stories of similar guys like that are so fucking thirsty they can't help themselves but going for the kill, and everybody talks about them.
And bro, listen, the shit that you do not out, and I'm, we're not here to get in your business, but how you treat your spouse, how you treat your family, like, you will be judged for that in the entrepreneurship world too. Like, if I get around somebody and they cheat on their spouse, I don't want to do business with you, motherfucker, because you're not honest. You don't have integrity. If I get around you and you don't give a shit about your kids, you don't give a shit about taking care of your health, I don't want to do business with you, because that's who you are. That's your character. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So,
I'm sorry, I'm different. I do judge you, and I am in your business. I want to know every fucking thing about you.
No, I'm saying we will judge you.
I want to know everything about you. I want to know what you do.
We don't want to do business with you.
I don't want any leaky ships. So, at the end of the day, how you do your life and govern your house is your business. But at the same time, if I'm going to be in business
with you, it's not your business. I want to know.
I heard a couple entrepreneurs talking on a podcast, and it's a high level one. And what he does is, when he goes to get into business with people, or hire him or bring him on, he tells them up front in an interview. He's like, hey, we're going to hire a private investigator. And we're going to see, we're talking about billions of dollars.
Maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah, he said, well, hey, and you're welcome to do it on me as well, but we're going to do a private investigator just to kind of see what's going on. Yeah. And what happens, he said, is when they get to once the report comes back, they don't judge him, but they have a conversation with him because, hey, he might have it wrong and we can have a conversation with him. But that's going to determine if they're going to be in business with you or not. That's pretty dope. I like that one.
So obviously, if you guys stayed with us for this episode, you know this is a little bit different than we used to do, than we're used to doing. But I think some of these honest conversations have to have. So kind of and wrapping up, like you're probably closer than you think. But also, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to understand what it takes, and you got to put in the work, and you just got to stop being a little bitch, and you got to stop playing the victim, and understand that relationship capital is the best capital that you can ever have. And understand that relationships are two-sided. And I think everybody has a propensity to be successful. I think very few have the ability to put in the work to do it.
I agree. I think it's just a matter of choose your hard, man. And, you can go choose your hard for somebody else. You can go choose your hard for, however many years or decades, but you take your time and you fucking actually double down and lock in for 10 years or 20 years. And then it amasses you a lifetime of wealth. It was all worth it, but you got to fucking go all in, man. Can't be a bitch.
That's right. Well, hey, we appreciate y'all tuning in, hearing us run our fucking mouths and talk about entrepreneurship. It was fun, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, hey, thank you guys always for tuning in, listening, and support the show. We stay ranked top 5 in the U.S. in investing. We've been number 1 multiple times, stay in the top 3 most of the time. So, can't say thank you guys enough. Hey, this show's a prime example of this. I was being a little bitch about doing the show, get it out there. We're almost to 1 million downloads in less than a year. So stop being a bitch and do the thing. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Hey, this next segment is brought to you by my good friends at Rocketly.ai. That is Rocketly.ai. If you're in the real estate business, especially investment side, and you need a platform that can run your real estate business and talk to leads through AI when you're not able to talk to them and can qualify and get to all the leads you can't get to, plus it has an amazing piece of technology with it called Lead Detector that helps get all the people that come to your site and not opt in to turn into a lead. These are my good friends at Rocketly.ai. I'm part of this company as well. I use it to run my real estate business, my real estate investment business. Go check them out. Again, Rocketly.ai. And thank you guys for sponsoring the segment.